Blog Talk Radio.
Stand by, folks. Ready to start in just 5, 4, 3.
This is John in Greenwich, and you're listening to Dave in the City on Locks of the Week Radio.
Coast to coast, internet sports talk, Locks of the Week.
Doc Rivers continues to, time and time again, not get it when it comes to getting... Oh! Let him play!
How Connecticut are you? Are you wearing khakis and a polo?
Regarding Lynch, who cares? What was he going to do today? Was he going to address each reporter? Oh, thank you for the question.
Cap ran through the entire Yankee lineup, but he left out one guy, and his name is Alex Rodriguez.
I like to try and forget about him because.
From Los Angeles, this is Dave in the City, brought to you by Locks of the Week Radio. Now, here's Dave Medina.
Good evening, sports fans, and a pleasure to have you here for the special WrestleMania 31 podcast. Good to have you with us here from our illustrious Dave in the City studio, Studio 6B here in Southern California. Good to have you with us again. If you want to join us on the show, in addition to our great panel of guests, you may call us at 424-258-9251, or you can chat with us at webchat.freenode.net, and the channel is Ditcow. So a lot going on. At Ditcow is your Twitter handle if you want to tweet us tonight. Many ways to contact the show. On this special program, we will be joined by numerous guests, including our two friends to start the top of the program, Ari in Philadelphia and John in Greenwich, Connecticut. Also joining us later on, we could be hearing from several others. We might be hearing from our friend Leo Sinatra. We could be hearing from Ron in New Jersey. And we could be hearing from one other friend, Parcells Falling Out. It's going to be a pretty big show, so we'll take the calls as they come in. Again, 424-258-9251. But now, let's begin by introducing our guests as we have breaking news to start the show. Brock Lesnar announced just a few hours ago will re-sign with the WWE, which effectively ends his UFC career. Big news, earth-shattering news in sports and in sports entertainment. And to help us talk about it, among many guests, we begin with our friends Ari in Philadelphia and John in Greenwich. We'll start with Ari. Ari, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. It was good to have you last year, too, on our WrestleMania show then. How's it going tonight?
How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, and I'm privileged to be a part of all this. John in Greenwich, you are our next guest making your debut on the WrestleMania podcast. How's it going tonight?
Mr. Cow, how are you?
I'm doing tremendously. And our third guest tonight to start us off, of course, we believe is our friend. I think this is a couple quickies. Let's double check. 973 area code. Who am I speaking to tonight?
Well, this is Road Warrior Hawk from Beyond the Grave, Dave. It's ACQ, Dave. What's going on, brother?
Fella, how's it going? Guys, here we are.
It's going good. John, Ari, how are you guys doing?
Doing good, Quickies, doing good.
What's up, brother?
Hello. Not much, man.
Man, how about the news today about Brock Lesnar,
I just put that bastard Bizarro through a table. That's what's up.
He invented tables, you know.
Is he holding it on a podcast? Are we going to have Vitamania happening up there? We're going to NWO that podcast and take it over.
Oh, we got to hijack that program. Am I right? Oh, baby.
We're going to take that gray wig, shine it up real good, and stick it up your candy ass. Anyway, another talk for another time, vid.
Certainly. Again, it's great to have all three of you on. And again, if you want to join us, the number is right on the bottom of the screen if you're watching on YouTube tonight, 424-258-9251. This is not a pledge drive, but this is just merely 2 hours of fun and games chatting about the greatest event in sports entertainment, WrestleMania 31 this year from Santa Clara at the brand spanking new Levi Stadium, where I think It's kind of had its share of hits and misses, not only with the product in the field, but with the field itself. That won't be as big of an issue here because we're going to bring in a wrestling ring. But man, yeah. So Lesnar is the big storyline here in this particular event, and there's going to be a big speculation about whether he was going to bolt from WWE after WrestleMania, whether he was being jobbed by them, and what have you. And today they announced that he's staying. So it might kill a little bit of the intrigue of the situation, but let's go down the line. We'll start with the quick man. Your thoughts about Brock Lesnar, in case you missed it. He re-signed a multi-year contract with WWE. Let's get your thoughts about it. What do you think of Lesnar's staying with wrestling?
I agree with you totally, Dave. They should have never announced that. You guys have such a hard-on to get any kind of, like, mainstream media pub. And that was a nice, okay, so, like, he announces that on ESPN, and that gives you, like, the little ESPN rub. Why ESPN has wrestlers on it, I have no idea, but okay. But, yeah, that should have been held back, you know. Now I think that takes a lot of steam out of things. You know, that left a lot of intrigue for the main event. But, you know, long-term, you can't argue with it. The guy is the most over of these superstars going today, I think. So it's a great move to have him back, and it should add for a lot more fun and intrigue to a product that needs it.
Yeah, it sounds like they haven't really had the kind of flair and characters that have really caught on the way that they've had in the past. So it's a good point to Quicks. It really is. So now to Aura, your thoughts about Brock Lesnar's staying with WWE.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you wanted to have a storyline with like half its feet, 1 foot in reality, then you had one with the specter of Brock Lesnar, this unbeatable beast, as Paul Heyman says, the, once-in-a-lifetime athlete, the reigning, defending, whatever he is, on his way out the door, and is he going to take the title with him? They had a storyline like this a couple of years ago with CM Punk, with his contract expiring, and they shot their load on it too fast. He left the company, quote-unquote, left the company with the title, but then they brought him back 2 weeks later. They shot it even earlier. Before the match even happened, they say, oh, no, he's not leaving. And, I agree it's a great move to keep him there, but I think they should have kept it under wraps until after Mania, because I think they had the specter of a Bret Hart style screw job that they were raising in the promos coming up to it. That now that's off the table. There's no reason for that. I mean, they could make up a reason for that, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as good a reason as the reason they had until today. So I think it is a wise move to sign him up. I wonder how long I wonder how often he's going to show up now, if his deal is going to change at all. But he's a very big attraction, a featured attraction, and it's good to bring him back. I just think they could have kept it in their pants.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it's a little too soon. I mean, it's amazing like this. That would have really, much like when you talk about will he stay, will he not stay, it would have gotten people interested in the event, and now that we already know he's staying, it seems to take some of the intrigue out of it right there. So I would tend to agree with the two of you on that. Let's get our final thoughts on Lesnar's return, or let's say stay, from John in Greenwich. Your thoughts on the Lesnar re-signing?
I love the re-signing. The thing about Lesnar is that is attractive versus other guys is that he's just not there enough, so it makes people want more. And I think that's a big part of his appeal, in addition to the fact of who he is and what his accomplishments have been in UFC. I agree with the guys about that they didn't necessarily have to announce it now, but because he's not going to start being there every week and defending the title all the time, I don't think it's like that big of a deal that they announced it, because he may not show up again until SummerSlam, or few and far between until SummerSlam after Monday. So I don't think it takes away a tremendous amount, though I appreciate what they say about the angle that they could have used, a la the Bret Hart situation. That's kind of gone. But this is also pro wrestling, so they could still spin it any way they want and come up with a scenario where, they could do a similar thing with Heyman, where he's not there enough, so he decides to go against him and align with Reigns or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it brings up some possibilities, and they could certainly use some fresh ideas. Now, let's hear from Brock Lesnar himself as he explains to ESPN's Jonathan Coachman about his decision.
The older you get, the wiser you become, and I didn't want to be that guy that retired and came back. So there was a lot of different things that went through my mind. Like I said, this just wasn't an overnight decision. This was a long, heartfelt decision that you weigh out the pros, you weigh out the cons, and at the end of the day, last night, old Vince McMahon put the offer on the table that I couldn't refuse, and that's really when it comes down to health and well-being. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been in a bad position with my health. I've been in a bad position with my money, and now I'm in a great position with both, and I'm happy.
That sounds like he's in a good spot, fella. Sorry for the technical difficulty. I yanked on the cable for my sound thing. So anyway, he's looking good. He's sitting pretty, and things are rolling along. Guys, we have a phone caller joining us on the program. So this party's just getting started on our WrestleMania 31 podcast. We're with John in Greenwich, Ari in Philadelphia, and a couple quickies. And now let's take an 860 area code number. I believe this is Parcells falling out. Let's double check. 860, you're on the show. What's up? Who am I speaking to tonight?
What's up, Dave? It's Parcells.
It is Parcells. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. You? What's up, boys?
PFO!
What's going on?
What's going on, my friends?
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. Just chiming in. Sorry I got here late. Just heard the Lesnar conversation, and I pretty much agree with what everybody was saying about WWE. Probably should have held this, but just playing flip side on this and what WWE is looking for. They got the last 10 minutes of SportsCenter tonight on ESPN, and all those eyeballs and everything they're trying to push for WrestleMania this weekend. And if they didn't approach them with this big announcement, I'm not sure that they get that sort of time and that sort of captured audience to promote WrestleMania. So yeah, I get what everybody was saying before about holding it back till the event or after the event, when he walks out on Raw on Monday night. But I don't think they're going to get this sort of opportunity if they don't come to ESPN and SportsCenter and say, hey, we got a huge announcement to make.
That's a great observation, Parcells. 3 for 7, stay on line. We'll get to you in just a moment, but let's get to the rest of the panel first about Lesnar's impact on ESPN. Do you guys think that this playing the decision this early helps him get that spot? Like, do you think it helped them get more exposure on ESPN by making the decision this early? Let's start with John first. John in Greenwich. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously he got more exposure on ESPN. The question is, will that result in more subscriptions? I don't know. It's tough to say. Do you see people that wouldn't ordinarily buy WrestleMania happen to see that he's going to be on there, or happen to turn on the TV and see that he's on and say, oh, well, now I'll go buy WrestleMania because of that? I don't know. I don't see how that would translate necessarily, but I don't know.
All right, let's go to Ari for his thoughts about Lesnar and ESPN. Do you think it helped increase the exposure on that network?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to sacrifice the quality of the show in order to get people to watch the show. I guess it's like any other show. You re-sign an actor to a show, then you're basically signaling people that that person's going to be on the show. And so you limit yourself in the storylines that you can do with that person. That person's not going to die. They're going to be on the show. So, or that person's not going to leave. They're going to be on the show. So I guess you weigh the pros and cons of promotional value versus the actual storyline value, and I guess it makes some sense. But I also agree with John that, well, I don't know how many people know who Brock Lesnar is if they don't already watch wrestling. I mean, I guess the UFC people, UFC fans would know who he is, but they already know he's in WWE. So they probably have made up their mind about whether they're going to buy WrestleMania or not. Maybe the people you get, and I didn't actually see the coverage today, maybe the people you get are the people who don't know that you get WrestleMania for $10, and people who think it's still $50. Now they know, oh, I can pay $10 and watch this and cancel next month. Maybe you get those people.
Yeah, you know, the WWE Network, we discussed that last year. It really presents new opportunities and creative ideas for obtaining WWE events and content. So, lastly, the quickies, and then we'll take 347's telephone. So, Quickman, your thoughts about the Lesnar increasing exposure via ESPN? Did they play that gambling chip to get some airtime on the worldwide leader?
I don't know. I guess they did. My takeaway from the ESPN thing is they almost gave you the ghetto low-down ESPN. What I heard, that I didn't hear that this happened on ESPN before the podcast, and I guess the only thought I had is I feel so bad for Jonathan Coachman, who's worked his ass off to get as far away as from being the wrestling guy as possible, and having the Rock's T-shirt, like sweaty Samoan pit stains on his face. And now it's like, all right, you do the wrestling spot, Coachman, and Michelle Beadle, who you had feud with, who she tried to feud with you in a bar. Everybody knows it. And that old cow face, which is going to get us down with a good cow, not going to fly. So these two ghetto, it really was the lowest rung of the ESPN ladder. I mean, they couldn't even get Steve Levy to cover this. I mean, it's Coachman and Beal. It's kind of sad and pathetic, but so's wrestling.
That's one step up from Marcellus Wiley and Max Kellerman, right? So you got that. I'm serious, right?
Exactly. Hey, you got the overnight. You got the overnight crew. You got the crippled guy, and you got this Indian exchange student we have doing the podcast, or doing the overnight sports center.
Oh,
I don't
love
know.
it.
That's my only takeaway from it. I guess on digital who watches Sports Center still anyway? But I guess it will be on digital platforms. It'll in tertiary outlets. On Google Fiber,
right?
But yeah, I guess it'll. Any eyes are good eyes. I mean, it's amazing they get this like Rolling Stone spot each week. So, like they're really. I don't know. It's funny. Like their product gets worse and worse, but they kind of get more and more mainstream, and maybe that's the means to an end. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's a double-edged sword, no doubt. So let's now take 347 on the show and have him join our party. 347, you're on the air with Dave in the City and a whole lot of other fellas. John, Ari, Parcells, Quickies. Did I miss anybody, John? I think that's everybody. Welcome to the show, 347. Who are we speaking to?
Hey guys, this is Umberto. I'm just here to serve as ACQ's laugh track for the night.
Great to have you aboard, man. I love it.
Can I wait before like ask your next question? Can I ask John from Connecticut a question? I mean, John from Greenwich.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
That guy, Captain Dead from the board. It's Major World, right?
I'm not getting into this stuff now.
Like he's doing like a bad job of hiding it. I think. I don't know. It's just like I think he's gonna crack one night and just like go like all like New Jersey Devils one night.
Oh,
like that's like the last drop. I think.
To turn this back into the wrestling theme, when it comes to that stuff, just remember the authority always wins.
Oh.
So
like
basically, he's doing like the Hulk Hogan in a mask bit.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Good deal. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that guy's quite a chameleon, but probably one of the worst quality chameleons you'll ever find. Oh man, it's only a matter of time. Oh jeez. Okay, let's continue with the program. Good start there, Umberto's. We really have quite a panel, and we invite all of you guys to hang around for the entirety of the show. We are scheduled for 2 hours. You don't have to be here for both hours if you don't want to, but we certainly would invite you to stay with us the whole time. And if you think we don't have enough material for the 2 hours, oh no, you would be mistaken. We've got a lot to cover tonight, so this is a good time. Now, I would say that it doesn't seem, just from looking at the matchups, that WrestleMania 31 is necessarily going to be a must-watch. But let's break this down from the beginning. Okay, so it's on the West Coast for one, and it's not there all the time, and it's going to be in the Bay Area at Levi Stadium. I can't speak to the weather right now because it's always changing, but it might be kind of chilly at night. We will see. Santa Clara does tend to get pretty chilly at night, so I mean nothing like the East Coast right now, but it should be decent. And then as far as the festivities, the stadium itself. It's an unusual stadium. It's kind of open-ended, so I'm wondering if you'll get the fan juice from that. So let's comment a little bit about the event, your opening thoughts. Like, what do you think you're most looking forward to, and is Levi Stadium going to deliver, in your opinion, for this event? We'll start with the noob. We'll go to Umberto's Clam House first for his thoughts. Umberto's, your thoughts about the site, about the event.
I don't know. It seems okay. To be honest, not even that clear on how the stadium actually looks. I haven't even watched that many 49er games last season, so I don't even know what the layout of the the stadium is. But I don't know. It seems okay. I'm sure they'll have like a huge ass set and everything, and like fireworks and all that stuff. So I bet it'll look fine.
Yeah, it's located next to the amusement park too. So if you're after the show or before it, you could have some fun riding roller coasters and things. So for the fan experience, you might end up having a pretty good time. There's also a hotel like right next to it called the Hyatt Regency Santa Clara, and you can, because I've done it, you can walk right from the hotel to the stadium, and it really only takes like 5 minutes. So it's a good situation, I think, for people attending the event. All right, let's go to Quickies for his thoughts about Levi Stadium as a site, if anything. This is kind of a quick topic, so let me know what you think.
Well, I got a little nugget for you, Dave. What I would say is this: we have an open air stadium in the West Coast, which I believe is the first time that's happened. Maybe like WrestleMania 9 was like in Las Vegas, and you kind of had that scenario, but I mean, that was an entirely different kind of presentation. So right now you have, so basically, you can correct me if I'm wrong on the sunrise tables, but, it's almost like the sun is setting, probably as the show is ending local time. And so many of their entrances, like the Undertaker and even, who's the guy, Bray Wyatt, and even Sting, you would think, they kind of rely on like a darkness element and it's spooky and, what can they do with the lighting to like really enhance and, amplify those entrances. And that's going to be, they can't all go on last. They can't all be in the dark, as the last match. So I think that's going to be a little element to look forward to see if that, throws a little wrench in their plans. I put on the board last night, I think it's ironic too that it's at Levi Stadium and now half these freaking wrestlers wrestle in jeans. I don't know if that's some kind of tie-in, but those are my stadium thoughts.
Beautiful. I love that, Quick Man. That's good stuff. All right, so now to Ari, your thoughts about Levi. That's a really good point about the time zone change, because it isn't going to get dark at 7:30 right now, and it is just getting dark here in California. And
Dave, can I add something, Dave?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dave, can I add something? Wrestling fans, I'm telling you, they've never thought about the time change. Like, they could not give like less of a rat's ass. Like, they have no idea that it's even in the West Coast, probably.
I probably know more about this.
They're too busy thinking about men in underwear.
Oh, man.
I think that's what the jeans are all about, Umberto. They want to get out of these men in underwear. Put them in some freaking jeans for once.
They look more civilized.
I can dig.
I'm hoping for smaller underwear. That's what I hope as a fan.
What are you talking
for a
like?
Nick Wallenda crossover.
Oh man! All right, let's quickly get to Ari and John and Parcells on the Levi Stadium thoughts. Ari, you first. Your thoughts about how this will affect the match? Do you think this will be a good site for WrestleMania 31?
Yeah. So the show starts at 4:00 local time, and I just Googled it. Sunset in Santa Clara is 7:23. So that's 3 good hours in the sunlight. And you're right; they're not going to be able to dim the lights. There's no roof on on Levi Stadium, right? It's completely
no
open.
Roof. It's completely open. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's gonna. I mean, the pyro they can do, but they're gonna have to change a lot of the entry. I think the Undertaker match.
Ari, has anyone looked into putting a tarp over the stadium? Have they tried that?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
It's a
call,
great
man.
point. No one's brought up.
But yeah, as far as I don't know, Quickies, you've been at a WrestleMania in a stadium. I can't imagine sitting like in whatever they call the 700 level and trying to watch this show and actually see it. I mean, you're basically watching it on television.
I brought my nephew, and I'm a terrible uncle. I bought tickets on the day. We were behind the goddamn stage. I mean, it said obstructed view. You know, like I told them we would go. I mean, I probably paid 100 bones for each ticket to sit behind a goddamn picture of the Empire State Building. But what's ironic and amazing, though, is like, for some reason, like it was totally fine. Like you could totally I don't know if it's the lighting or the focus on the ring. Like it really, I'm sure it would have been better being closer, but like I can't say like it was any different feeling than being in an arena. But obviously it had to be. It's that much more space or whatever. But so it didn't lack from that perspective. But it lacked from being around wrestling fans.
A lot of wrestling is also about crowd noise and the media stuff, the music and all the other sound, and that'll be different also in an open air stadium as well. So that will be interesting to see. That's not specific to Santa Clara or to Levi Stadium. It's just about stadiums versus arenas, but that could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of factors that come into play in a situation like this. I mean, it's a different ball game when you talk about not only a outdoor facility, but an outdoor facility on the West Coast, an outdoor facility that's fairly open-ended. So there are a lot of things to consider, and I'm sure WWE is working on all of this as they start practicing and rehearsing for this big event. Oh, did I say rehearsal? I thought the matches are real. Well, anyway, at any rate, let's continue. Let's round out the topic. Let's go to John in Connecticut for your. I mean, I keep saying Connecticut. John in Greenwich. Your thoughts on Levi Stadium?
Well, I am in Connecticut, so
True.
that is accurate. Yeah, I can't. I thought that was a great point by Quickies about the sunlight and all that. As far as the crowd noise and stuff, I mean, I don't know the specific acoustics of Levi Stadium, but there have been WrestleManias in stadiums before, and stadiums can have loud crowds, as we all know. So I don't know how much of a factor that would be. I was at WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden a long time ago, and this is getting to Ari's point about sitting really high. And granted, Madison Square Garden's a lot smaller, but I was up high, and I even remember then thinking, yeah, the ring's kind of far away, and I've been to a Royal Rumble, similar kind of scenario, sitting high up, thinking it's kind of far away. And I could imagine if you're all the way up in a stadium that high, in this day and age, it's probably less of a factor because of the size of these screens that these places have now. But I thought that was a good point that Ari made.
Yep, good stuff. Now to Parcells' final thoughts on Levi Stadium as a WrestleMania site.
Yeah, Dave, I just think quickly, obviously for the viewer at home, there's not going to be any sort of difference. But if I recall, in some of the WWE's talking points, when they had their press conference announcing that it was going to be out there, they stressed some of the stuff about the fact that it's in the Silicon Valley and, not to get all technology Mike on here, But just how it's going to be a different experience for the way that the stadium is so new and some of the amenities that it offers for the attendees in the stadium.
They're going to put a screen at everyone's chair.
Focus on that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that.
Okay, so that rounds out our topic about the discussion about the site itself. I mean, the between the before the event festivities, I think is not really as big of a topic as it would be for the Super Bowl. So let's now get into the event itself. Many matches, as you would expect for a WrestleMania event, much like boxing, and we start with the Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. Now, I got this information direct from the WWE itself, a place that both Parcells and John are very familiar with, that is in their area. And I'll tell you, Taker versus Wyatt, Undertaker lost his first match in a WrestleMania ever last year, and now Bray Wyatt is being labeled the new, let me see if I get this right, the new face of fear. That just made me laugh. I mean, are you buying this, guys? Let's start with the quick man. Bray Wyatt is the face of fear. Give me your thoughts.
I buy him as the new face of Jiffy Lube. And he's really neck and neck with Rusev. I mean, they look both like kind of Jiffy Lube technicians to me. But no, he's tremendous. You know, as a face, you know, I don't know. They get so hung up on these names, and not to jump ahead of things, but you know, they push their branding down your throat. You know, with the vigilante sting or any of this crap. You know, these like ancillary nicknames to get some kind of, you know, Twitter trend going probably. So no, I'm not a big fan of the face of fear branding, but I am a big fan of Wyatt. I think he's great.
Good deal. Your prediction for this match? Does Taker lose again?
This is the hardest match of the night to predict for me. Even more than the main event. You know, I would have said no way Taker loses, but now I'm starting to think that Wyatt wins, and you know, maybe you can do, you know, that leaves you more options for next year, you know, because assuming, you know, that's the strange thing about this WrestleMania. It's such a prelude to the next WrestleMania where they're, you know, I think they're going to try to sell 100,000 tickets in Texas at the Cowboy Stadium.
Ooh.
So, you know, it's almost, we're in a weird stasis of this WrestleMania. You know, I think so much, that'll probably be Undertaker's retirement. So this is just sort of an in-between. So I don't know, you know, gun to my head, I would say Taker wins.
All right. And that would be a natural progression, a natural outcome, because he's won almost basically all of them. Okay, let's go to Parcells. Your thoughts about the Taker-Wyatt match?
I agree with Quickies. I think Taker wins. I think what they're going to do, and a lot of the stuff that you read, is that they're trying to set it up for next year's WrestleMania, which I guess Taker's from Texas, and that's going to be his swan song next year. So I think everything they're doing here is that he's going to win. I just can't see him losing two in a row. And you know, I like Wyatt. I like the character. You know, I think he's taken a hit over the past year, and we'll get into the whole Cena effect probably when Cena goes up against a lot of these younger guys, and you know, Cena has to win, and we'll get into that later. But I think Taker wins this one, and it sets him up for a bigger match going into next year.
All right, let's go quickly to Umberto. Your thoughts about Undertaker, Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, no, I agree with the two earlier predictions. I think the Undertaker's going to win, but still laughing at ACQ's comment about WWE's insistence of calling this thing the vigilante. Like, it's definitely all like branding. Like, I'm sure like they sell like the vigilante t-shirts now or something. I've never been to like their WWE shop zone because like I don't want it in my browser history. I'm too embarrassed. But like, I'm sure like if you go to like the shop zone or whatever, I'm sure they are selling like vigilante t-shirts and stuff. And like, I don't know like where they got the nickname because he was like never called that like previously in like WCW or whatever. So I don't know. It's just weird.
Weird indeed. And you do get the sense that they're trying to force feed not only like storylines and characters, but names, and they're trying to they're not letting these memes develop naturally. And I think I'll ask about Brie Mode a little later on because we'll get to that match later. But it does seem like some of these are like attempted memes or attempted catchphrases, which is kind of always comes out a little bit hokey, you know. So let's now go to RA for his thoughts about Undertaker Bray Wyatt. Anything you'd like to add?
I'm gonna say that Bray Wyatt wins. I don't think that they are going to job out the guy to someone who we're not going to see until next year. I think they're going to put him over. He's done a lot of jobbing lately on pay-per-view. He's carried this entire feud, such as it is, himself. Undertaker has not been on television since WrestleMania last year. He's not appeared to promote this match at all. And he's not going to appear afterwards. So I don't think they're going to put him over. So I'm gonna disagree with what we've heard so far. I think it'll be a decent match. I've read recently, and this is going back to my last appearance on the podcast, which is about spring training, that The Undertaker is in the best shape he's been for a long time. I read that today, that he's working out harder than he usually works out, and he's in the best shape of years and years. So it looks like he wants to put on a good match, which is nice, because he looked really old and tired against Lesnar last year.
Yeah.
But we'll see what he still has left in the tank, and I agree with everyone else that he's definitely got one more match that he's going to have next year, so this is not going to be his last one, and he doesn't have the streak anymore, so I don't think they're going to put him over this year.
All right, so he did that because the storyline's out. I mean, it's probably a more realistic, realistic looking outcome, so I don't know if they set odds on this stuff. They really shouldn't because it's all pre-staged and all that, but if they did in a theoretical world, I would imagine that Bray might even be a favorite in this match because just technically speaking, talking about like a 50-year-old guy versus some much younger guy. Anyway, John, your thoughts about Undertaker Bray Wyatt?
Still real to you, Dave.
Just to answer the vigilante question that UCH brought up. That all started at Survivor Series when he came out. Supposedly, the storyline was that he wasn't under contract to ruin the Authority. So that's where that vigilante thing started. He wasn't called that in WCW. And
the
Dave,
only thing is, I don't know any vigilantes that wear a bathrobe under anything. You look ridiculous.
well, and Dave. And as far as
I'm not sure why he's not wearing a black leather jacket in WCW.
He looked like one of those Columbine kids.
Dave,
like a Columbine kid in a band, like in a drum major, like he got into Michael Jackson's closet. He was a Columbine kid. He's got amulets. What do you call those damn things on his shoulders?
Did you see that damn band? I'll get into my thoughts on Sting. Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No.
Go ahead, asterisk. Go ahead.
Okay. Dave. I feel like PJ from South Haven. You gonna let me talk, Mike? You gonna let me talk?
Asterisk.
So,
okay, John, go ahead.
Okay, and as far as why these names come up, it's definitely all about the hashtag. I mean, that's
yeah.
But anyway, as far as my thoughts on the match, I can't stand the fact that Undertaker came back. I thought it would have been a perfect way for him to end by losing to Lesnar, and then just you ended the streak. You don't have to have the obligation to keep that going anymore. I agree with Ari. He did not look good at all. I thought it was the perfect way for him to go away. And then it's like, well, he already lost at WrestleMania, so what is I don't understand the purpose of Bray Wyatt even bringing him back. I mean, he already lost at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar. So, okay, why do we need to bring him back? So that's my problem with the match even existing. However, looking at the match, if Undertaker really is in good shape, then yes, I think it can be a good match because I do like Wyatt a lot, and then Undertaker, if he is in shape, can put on a good show. And I really don't like the fact that he'll probably be back next year, but I agree with everyone else that he probably will be. And my prediction is that he'll win because I don't see them bringing him back to have him just lose again.
Right. All right, so that takes care of Undertaker, Bray Wyatt. The
what if they put him up against Rey Mysterio next year as the dead man versus the guy that kills people? Would that be too much heat? I don't know.
The 619 of death.
Yo, let's say I've killed people. Rest in peace.
This is
Undertaker. Wait, we can't get past Undertaker yet, Dave. The guy wrestles in goddamn pajamas. He thinks he's an Ultimate Fighter wearing these stupid Ultimate Fighter gloves. He shaves his head. I mean, really.
He's going to return as the biker, right?
Out of here. Enough.
Yeah, the Limp Bizkit Taker.
Yeah, he's going to return as the biker.
The American Badass is back for one more ride, baby. The American Badass is undefeated at WrestleMania. He's 3-0. He can come back.
Oh, I love it. All right, guys.
I'm sorry, Dave. I just had to chime in.
Next topic. This is and we have a bonus hour too. So this is certainly a good spot to crack fun. I tend to I think of this podcast as two things. I think of it as a preview of WrestleMania. I also think of it as making fun of WrestleMania at the same time. So it's really a good spot for all of us. So we continue on this program.
That's not a good board. We take WrestleMania very seriously. No secret discussion. We respect.
I'm like, we wanted serious wrestling talk. What is this? The host is laughing at this.
We respect the masculine ballet and pantomime that is pro wrestling. I'm going to start a new board called Angle Talk, where we can just talk about wrestling round the clock.
Oh, that's good. That is good. Let me run down our guest panel again. Once again, you just heard that was a couple quickies, who was just did a tremendous job on the lead-up trailers that we just played over the last couple days, where he did characterizations of both Macho Man Randy Savage, the Hulkster Hulk Hogan, and my favorite, they're all really good, but Ric Flair, Nature Boy. That was strong. They all were really strong. That was really good stuff. So, very, very nicely done. Very nicely done. Okay.
Woo!
That's it, baby. That's it. And then the rest of our panel, we have Parcells calling us from Connecticut, John in Greenwich, and then he joined us at the tail end, but he's certainly no less a contributor. Umberto's Clam House calling from San Diego tonight with the very funny quotables. And then Ari in Philadelphia in the very crystal clear, dulcet sounds of Skype. And it just sounded tremendous tonight. That microphone you use is amazing. And I'm Dave Medina, your host for this evening. And let's proceed. We have much to cover.
Dave, can I interrupt 1 second?
Yep, you got it.
Quickies, before the end of this program, can Rick and Charlotte contribute some of his thoughts?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
My spot, but we'll get Rick in the mix. I'll see if I can find him.
All right, sounds like a plan. Oh man, you have to do it. You have to be a man. He's a man of the people. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. All right, so now,
Dave, I wish we could have DVD extras of wrestler impressions that I kind of could do and really sucked at, but that had to get thrown out in the woodpile.
I hope we have time for
and
that.
Then
That'd be fun.
Went too deep. I was trying to do like a Kerry Von Erich impression for some reason, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy's been dead for 20 years. I might as well work like Dino Bravo. Kerry Von Erich just kind of this. Hey, you listen to the Dave in the City Medina podcast.
They'll, I can't even remember what the guy sounds like, but I'll just laugh. Like, he probably sounded like that.
Oh, Kerry in Dallas, you're on the fan. How are you, Kerry? Hey, Mike.
Oh gosh.
Never do that. I'm sorry.
Pure hilarity, fellas. All right, let's get to our next topic. And again, fortunately there aren't that many matches to break down here tonight. But our next topic is the U.S. Championship, and I have a question for you guys. What is the difference between the World Championship and the U.S. Championship? I don't get it. Is this like levels? Like why is there a separate U.S. Championship? And the guy that's playing in it isn't even from the U.S. It's Rusev versus John Cena. So there's your matchup. Where do you even begin? Well, we'll begin this one with Umberto's. Your thoughts about this whole thing with the U.S. Championship, Rusev, John Cena, and what is the difference between the U.S. Championship and World Championship?
Yeah, okay, I'll break it down. So the World Championship is the top belt, and then they have the U.S. belt and the Intercontinental belt, which are like the same level. They're like worth less than like the Cerrito, like Clay Cerrito, pretty much. They're like worth crap. So that's how the belt rankings are, pretty much.
Okay. So it's just filler, basically. All right, I got you. All right.
Yeah.
And as for Rusev and John Cena himself, itself, what do you think? It says here that Rusev is undefeated, but he's much like Roman Reigns. He made his debut only about a year ago, so they're trying to really push him as a big star. What are your thoughts about this whole dynamic? Do you think that he's got the people's ear? Do you think that he'll be a popular play in this particular matchup?
They'll probably have John Cena win. I think he's like lost like a lot of the last matches he had. Like he's been on like a losing streak. I think he might not be, but I think he is, man. And like they'll probably want to send the fans home happy. But like that other guy, he's actually pretty good. I think he's like one of the best new guys they have.
Okay, good deal. And so now let's bring it up the line. Let's go to Parcells. Your thoughts about Rusev, John Cena?
John Cena, they're not going to have him walk out with a loss. And Rusev, I'm a big Rusev fan. I think he's really good. For a big guy, I think he's really good in the ring. I think he has some pretty good mic skills. Plus Lana is way hot. So, but, you know, I brought it up before. You know, John Cena, they have John Cena go up against these young guys. He's Rusev now, previously Ambrose. You know, and he just leaves these guys in his wake. And, you know, it's not John Cena's fault. It's Vince McMahon's fault because John Cena has to win these matches. But, you know, these guys just wind up taking 2-3 steps backwards after getting into these programs with Cena. And and that's what's going to happen to Rusev here. So, Cena's going to win this match. You know, this might be the match I have the most confidence in.
Ooh, so you got that one as a big, you got that one as a lock. So there you have it. Let's go to John in Greenwich for your thoughts of Rusev versus Cena.
Yeah, I agree with Parcells in that I'm very confident that Cena wins, and I'll give you some reasons. One, Rusev beat Cena at the last pay-per-view, so I don't see them having 2 pay-per-views in a row where Cena loses to Rusev. 2, last night's show, Rusev completely destroyed Cena, so that to me means that Cena's going to get some revenge because it was so over the top how he beat him up that there's no way that's going to continue at WrestleMania. Third, Rusev is undefeated, as you said, so he's going to have to lose at some point to somebody. They haven't figured out who that's going to be yet, and for the foregoing reasons, I see that, you know, this is the quote-unquote perfect time for him to finally lose. But I'm a huge Rusev fan, too. He's one of my favorites. I think he's a big guy that is athletic, which you don't often see. And the question is, will Lana show up? Because she was out filming that movie, so I don't know if she's going to come back just for this or not. I haven't heard.
Yeah, she's as big a topic as Rusev is. I mean, she really catches everybody's attention. She's quite babylicious, as they would say. Let's continue. I didn't mean to stay on that.
Say that again, Dave.
Babylicious.
Say that word again.
Isolate that.
Make it an audio. All right. Your thoughts about the Rusev John Cena match?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way Cena doesn't win. I mean, it's rah USA jingoistic stuff that the WWE has been doing for 30 years. Big bad Russian guy hates America and says insulting things, and so American hero John Cena is going to go and take our title back for us. That's the story of the match. So there's no way America doesn't win at the end of that story. So John Cena is America and apple pie, and he's going to win. I think so. Will the match be good from a basically a match standpoint? Probably. Cena turns it up for WrestleMania, and Rusev is good in the matches, so it'll be a decent match. I don't think anyone has any misconceptions about who's going to win. I'm going to predict that Lana comes back to turn on Rusev. So that'll be my out on a limb prediction for this match.
That's crazy. All right, so now to a couple quickies. Your thoughts on the match?
Well, gun to my head, I say Cena wins. But I don't know what situation I would end with where there'd be a gun to my head to predict a wrestling match. So, in all honesty, if I were betting, I would bet the money line on Rusev, whatever the hell his name is. I hear everyone's logic, and it's most likely going to play out that way. But I will go commie contrarian route, and I'll say, I could definitely make the case for Rusev winning, or at least there being intrigue, because of the Lesnar signing. So now you have Lesnar back. You assume he's going to beat, what's his name? Reigns. Because if I were booking, and I don't know who books this crap, it might as well be a retarded monkey. But if I were booking, a notion we didn't get into is that I heard ticket sales are really, comparatively light for this event. They've sold 55 or 60,000 tickets, I believe. This is an NFL stadium. I'm sure they have at least, I know they take up the stage with a lot of stuff, but then they have floor seats. So I'm going to guess, capacity for WrestleMania is at least 75,000. So they're kind of short of that right now. And now, if again, looking ahead to next year, if you say we have to sell 100,000 tickets, how are we going to do that? Well, to me, the way you do that is you make Lesnar into this mega beast, and you have him keep the title. Now, they still like Reigns, so it's a matter of what do you do with Reigns. So this may be like, 5 o'clock Mike Mongo booking right now. But to me, I would almost have Rusev win, and then you have something for him to do. You could do what should have been done, for this WrestleMania. Have Reigns beat Rusev, maybe at SummerSlam, and you kind of rechristen Reigns, and that's something people get behind. That's the level Reigns should be at. You want to see the progression. You want to see the innocent climb with your favorite wrestlers. But you do. That's a nice achievement for Reigns to beat him. Like, that's right at his level. So, I could spin two storylines out of that. You have the shocking kind of swerve of having Rusev win, because I think the factor we also got to look at here is, what heels are going to win on this card. Again, not to look too far ahead, but you assume Sting is going to win. You assume that, if you have Reigns winning, he's technically your face, but I think when Lesnar wins, he's effectively going to be a face, so he's a good guy winning. You assume Orton's going to win. Basically up and down the card, you have good guys winning. So you need to have some heel win here. So I can really see Rusev winning, and it's a nice shock. They like to shock people. They had Undertaker lose last year. So again, not supremely confident in that, but if I could get odds, I would bet on that.
Well, I tell you what, you certainly if you want to be a contrarian, you certainly didn't pick any cheapies here. That's a pretty big one to be contrarian about. So if that plays out, that'd be you certainly would clean up, because I would think similar to what you were saying about betting odds. And again, I don't know how they would allow this as a bet, but he'd be probably getting odds, right? Like he'd be getting like 200 or something, or maybe plus 150 on this match. I would think that he'd probably be getting some certain percentage. You get some returns on that, so good deal. Okay, next topic in the
Dave, I don't think there's a cover. Dave, I don't think there's a cover train in pro wrestling.
All right, I got enough trouble with the cover train thing. Let's move on.
Pro wrestling, they got the Hoo train. Different kind of train, Dave.
Different kind of train. I got you. All right. So now to the Divas Tag Team Match.
I just hope Andy doesn't come in Vid's. I hope Andy doesn't come into Vid's apartment and take him out with a steel chair right now.
Ooh, ooh! Look over my shoulder. I don't
Good
know.
God, it's Andy's music.
Show today, motherfucker.
Oh, that is good. That's funny. All right, guys.
Dave, you and Andy got to get it back together, okay, pal? You guys can't be, on different pages.
Yeah, I think I'm all. I think I'm over
Next
it
thing you
now.
know, Clueless from Seattle is putting Dave through a barbershop window. Would you please?
I'd be happy to. What was that, Ari? What was that?
We need you and Andy in the ring at WrestleMania, Dave.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have him beat me up. I'd have no issue with that. He can throw me off the ring. Probably wants to do that anyway. I would entertain it. I'd be happy to get in.
I think you guys are back on the same page. All's well.
Yeah, we're fine. We're good. I don't even think he cares at this point. I don't care either. I'm kind of. The whole thing was just us Mongos being Mongos. I mean, I got mad at him and I'm done. It's over. So we'll see where he ends up on it. But I'm good. I'm good at this point. Okay.
Who scored higher on the
You're
online
not
IQ
gonna,
test?
I don't even know what that is. I was not around for that. So I heard
I'm
it was
just trolling.
Okay. Very well. To the
So
next.
Dave, what you're saying is you're not going to get out a can of spray paint and spray paint right Dit Cow on Andy's back.
No.
When he's left laying in the ring.
Nah, I can't do that. He's too, he's too good of an egg. I mean, he's really a funny guy, and it would be so petty for me to go on about something because he just didn't like my betting thing. I mean, that was just so dumb for me to even go that way.
All right, I think we got a reconciliation here.
Well,
I love this.
I feel like we need some soft background music or something.
I don't know, guys. If you watched the YouTube of last week's pod, I definitely apologized to an extent about the whole thing, but not in audio. So check it out. I have some hidden messages on there. So anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't bring it up last week because I didn't want to be a self-promoter because I can't help being a self-promoter. I do a podcast, but yep, that's right. I kind of said, let's let bygones be. I will let bygones be bygones, basically in writing. So I threw some jokes in there. It's pretty good stuff. So is the yacht smiley now the asterisk smiley? Like the two colons and the asterisks in the middle. Like is that now the yacht smiley? Because I was kind of curious.
No, that was a terrible segue, Dave. What is that? Like touching subjects like.
All right, guys. So let me. I do want to ask you this. Speaking of memes and segues, Brie Mode, is that a meme that developed naturally, or is that also force-fed by WWE? And Brie would be Brie Bella of the Bella twins. The other is Nikki. And Brie Mode is basically, for those uninitiated, the act of going all out and drinking too much and just being a complete ass, apparently. So
wait, is that really what it is? I
didn't know what that was.
I think that's.
No, I had no idea. Thanks, Dave.
Where did you find that?
I looked it up actually. I was doing some research on that, and she said it was named after Nikki, Brie Bella of the Bella twins, etc., etc. And Brie Mode became a catchphrase throughout social media, and let me I think I read that somewhere. It's when she just goes crazy, like she just goes completely wild.
It looks like you read that on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I did
But
read.
if that is if that could have been born on Total Divas, which I've never watched, so I mean, obviously I know that she wears the shirt and all that during the ring, and she said it, but maybe it started on Total Divas, but I've never seen the show, so that could be, where it all began.
Okay, so it's as much a Total Divas reference as it is a regular WWE Divas reference. I got you. And that's like a show. Is that a WWE show, or does it just happen to have like divas in it?
No, it's a WWE show. It's a reality show that follows these girls around. I don't know much about it. They don't wrestle though. It's just
right.
Their lives or whatever.
Who would watch?
Yeah, they basically just follow them around from city to city while they're on tour with WWE, and they just get involved with their personal life, just like any other trashy reality show. They follow them around from
It's on
arena
E, like
to
every
arena.
other show on E.
Yeah, it is like every other show on E.
Kardashians for WWE.
Yeah. Yeah, Ari, your mic's cutting out on us again, so I don't know what we would do there, but good luck getting that worked out.
Well,
how's it?
I'll try it again.
Okay. Cool. So we'll get Ari back in a moment. So anyway, the Divas Tag Team match itself, it's AJ Lee and Paige against the Bella Twins, and I read here that AJ Lee and Paige are what they call frenemies, which is completely new terminology for me here. Frenemies. So apparently they hate each other, but they're getting together for the betterment of defeating the Bella Twins. Guys, I need you to help me explain this nonsense. We'll start with you, Quick Man.
Well, first of all, I just want to say Mike is in Brie mode right now.
Oh.
He's crushing wheels of cheese in his kitchen. He's just eating Brie with not even a cracker. Just fucking eating the whole triangle in one shot. Watching the Canucks. I don't know. I think you made an excellent point, Dave, about these forced memes. Like, it really, I never contextualized it that way as they're going for a meme or something like that. But that's really, what it is. Whether you call it a meme or call it a hashtag or what, meme, whatever.
Meme, yeah.
Meme hilario. But, yeah, it's totally, pardon the pun, but cheesy, if you ask me. It's like, and what's funny is anything that does develop organically, it's amazing. You know what it is? It's a lot like, our patron saint, Mike Francesa. It's like when he's not trying to be funny, that's obviously the funniest. And then when he tries, when he thinks he's, getting a good line off, it's usually horrendous. And that's how I kind of see what they do. When they're trying to be viral or whatever, because it just can't be. A corporation can't create that kind of content, or if they can, they're not doing it very well, and they're not concealing it. It looks so forced what they're trying to do. So, as for the match, I don't know. I want to smell Paige's panties. That's about all I got out of that match.
Oh, man. Yeah, we can't. This is probably just for fun, so I'm not going to put too much analysis into it. Parcells, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't even understand why they're having this match. It's not. Yeah, I guess. So, who? I get confused. I don't know who has the belt. It's Brie or Nikki, but whoever it is, I can't remember the last time somebody had a title and they didn't defend it. There's no title on the line here. It's just they put AJ and Paige together, and like Quickies, a big Paige fan, and they have been putting some decent wrestling matches together. When in the ring, it's been fairly entertaining. Last night it was one of the more entertaining matches, Paige versus one of the Bellas. I just don't get why they paired AJ and Paige back together and they're doing this match. So I have no idea who's going to win this. I'm going to be rooting for Paige, so that's where I am.
Dave's speech was.
Oh,
Dave,
gosh,
okay?
I keep doing that. I forgot to put my microphone
Jim
up.
here?
There we go, I got it.
It's never you, Dave. Never you.
911?
Oh, my fault, guys.
Dave just finished. He was thinking about Paige.
Dave,
All right.
we can see your screen. We can see that picture of Paige up there on your screen.
Oh, there's more than just a mirror, guys.
Turn the page. Provocative.
Oh,
Dave's
that's-
on the page.
that is good. We are on the same page. Get it, guys? Oh, man. Would that be... All right, so, John, I think I was interested to hear anything you had to add to this Divas match.
To answer Parcells, Nikki is the current champ. Anyway, as far as I agree with you in the sense that I thought the last 2 weeks the matches have been good between them. Normally, the old joke is or not even a joke, but the old thing is that a Diva match comes on, it's time to go to the bathroom. The old bathroom break match. I thought the last 2 weeks their matches with those four have been good. I don't have a strong thought on who's going to win. I'll just say, I'll say the Bella twins, but I have no confidence in that pick. And as far as the frenemies thing, Dave, how that started was that Paige and AJ while back were feuding over the Divas title. So before that or during that, they were kind of like at some points they were getting along, and then some points they weren't, and then they ended up just having an all-out feud. And then now they're kind of back together again, but then last night they got into a fight. So that's kind of how.
Really? This is seriously the storyline here? They got into a fight last night, too?
They did, because it was one of those inadvertent. The fact that I know all this stuff probably tells you everything you know about me. But what happened was that they were fighting the Bella twins, and then AJ knocked Brie out, and then Paige came up from behind her, and AJ didn't know it was Paige and punched her, and then Paige got mad and attacked her and all that. So that's how that happened.
They will kiss and make up in 2 hours. So now let's go to Ari in Philadelphia.
Feel free to delete the last 3 minutes so
I'm
no
on a
one
different
can
mic,
know
though.
her.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you. Now somebody said a "Hey Dave." Who was that?
Oh, I did, David. ACQ. Hey, just one little point to interject here, which I think is kind of a worthwhile nugget. Getting back to their love of social media or whatever, and it was true. Like John said, it was the bathroom break match, and it was a joke match, and kind of a TNA, spectacle, like these divas. And then Stephanie McMahon put up a tweet after Patricia Arquette won the Oscar, basically, urging equality in women's, workplace opportunity and for pay. And she put up a tweet being like, "Hey, that you go, girl," or whatever the hell she said. And AJ, who's wrestling, and this is what's always good about wrestling, I think. You never know what's really a work or what could be real. AJ tweets, "Well, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, why don't you do that for, like, the women that you employ, Stephanie? Like, you actually are in a position," I think she kind of is the head of creative, or not, she's certainly very, has an elevated role in that place. And if you've noticed, ever since then they kind of, there was a hashtag, again, an organic hashtag, not a hashtag they pushed, but a hashtag that trended, give divas a chance. And ever since then, they've been kind of trying to push them a lot more. They gave them like a 12-minute match last night, which is, probably a month's worth of women's wrestling that they would normally have on Raw. And again, to me, it's, who cares? I'm happy to look at it. It's like, And believe me, I wore out my damn, pause and fast forward button looking for nip slips last night. 'Cause I thought we were close last night. It was almost there. And I'm like, how pale is that nipple gonna be? Come on. But yeah, that could be an interesting little wrinkle because the theory is they might have fired AJ for that. However, AJ is married to CM Punk, and they are they're sort of CM Punk is that's a whole other story. He's out of wrestling, he's doing MMA. It's kind of acrimonious. He did a podcast, yada yada. But the long story short is they're actually suing CM Punk, so the theory is they couldn't really fire her because that would look like some kind of retribution. So she was sort of open and available to take that kind of shot at her. So, who knows if that was work or if it was real or whatever, but just an interesting nugget to throw in there.
Boy, it's a feud behind the scenes too, isn't it? That's very exciting, guys. We'll see if that's any correlation to this match. All right, Ari, any thoughts you had regarding the Divas match?
Yeah, I think the reason they're having a tag team match is just so they can get 4 divas without having 2 matches, because they don't want to devote too much time to the women wrestlers. So they put them in a tag match that make it slightly longer, and they get to have 4 of them in it. Also, I've heard a rumor that the Bella twins are coming up on the end of their contract and thinking about not renewing. So if that informs A, how the match is going to go, and B, why they're doing this as a tag team match to put over a new feud between AJ and Paige again. That might have something to do with it. That's behind the scenes stuff. As far as the match, I don't know. These women's matches, the problem is, I think they're not. I mean, the women are there obviously to look good, but that detracts from, I think, the credibility of trying to suspend your disbelief and think that they can actually have a fight because. AJ weighs what, 95 pounds? She's going to really kick somebody's ass? I just don't see it. I mean, they can barely move the ropes when they run into them. So I did the matches. They don't do it for me. But I think Paige and AJ get into a fight with each other, and the Bellas win because Paige and AJ got into a fight with each other. Is my prediction.
All right, very well said. That'll do it for the Divas Tag Team match. Certainly, most of the juice is outside of the ring for this one. So we will continue on to our next topic. The WrestleMania 31 podcast. I'm Dave Medina, and again, a couple quickies. Umberto's Clam House, Parcells Falling Out, Ari in Philadelphia, and John in Greenwich, all with me tonight. We are having a good time talking about pro wrestling and sports entertainment. So we continue. And again, I really want to power through these because I want to spend about a half an hour on potpourri, or what I would call it, random topics, things we can discuss about the state of sports entertainment, more impressions from our friend Couple Quickies. So I don't want to take too much time with a lot of these. Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins is the next match. Orton's been around a while, so this is going to be very interesting fodder. Let's go to John first for your thoughts on this one.
Well, Orton was filming a movie, and he just came back a couple weeks ago. So, under the logic of, are they going to bring a guy back and have him job right away, you'd say, well, he'll probably win. But maybe to be a contrarian or not, I'm going to pick Seth Rollins in this match. I think it'll be a good match. A lot of people don't like Orton. I happen to like him. I think he's good on the mic, and I like him in the ring. And Rollins is really good in the ring. So I think this has a potential to be a good match, and I'm going to pick Rollins to win.
All right, so you got Rollins taking it. Let's go to Ari for your thoughts about RKO. I call him RKO because that's his initials. Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that's his initials, and also it's the name of his finishing move. The RKO out of nowhere. So I'm gonna pick Orton to win it because I'm going to predict that Seth Rollins comes out in the middle of the main event and cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, and that's how they put him over. So that way they can get Orton over and Rollins over in the same night by having Rollins lose this match and then take part in the main event. But anyway, as far as this match goes, Rollins has really impressed me in the ring and on the mic. Orton, on the other hand, I'm not a fan of at all. In the ring, he's fine, but And they're really, I don't like him to begin with, but they're really screwing up his heel face stuff. We talked about this on the board when it happened. He's a heel, he's a face, he's a heel, he's a face. He's a face who is being sold as a heel by the announcers. They really screwed it up. So I mean, I don't see a lot of juice in this match crowd-wise because I think Orton's been kind of neutered. But so I don't know what else to say about it, but I'm gonna pick Orton.
All right, so you're going with the vet, and now we go to. We had John, we had Ari. Let's now go to Parcells. Your thoughts about Orton Rollins?
I'm going Rollins. I think Rollins is great on the mic. I think he's great in the ring. I like Orton, but I think heel Orton is better than face Orton. And I think Ari brings up a legit point about Rollins cashing in the Money in the Bank in the main event. But if everything's going to be a fairly clean finish, I think Rollins is going to be the heel that has the big win on Sunday. So I'm going with Rollins.
All right, so now let's get to a couple quickies. Your thoughts about Orton Rollins?
Well, I don't watch much gay porn. But if I did, I'd imagine these two are the most likely to look like gay porn stars of anyone in the company. For whatever that's worth. Who's gonna win? I don't know.
Well, Fandango's not on the court this year, so probably those two.
CNF, he's in the battle.
Is he really? Again?
They put him in the Battle Royal, you're right. Yeah. Zack Ryder in the Battle Royal, too.
All right, carry on. Quick.
Did I just hear CNS? Like, I don't know.
That is right. That was, and guess who? Guess who?
That was, it was CNF getting CNF'd here today.
That's kind of funny. Oh man.
Woo! CNF it all night long. I guess. I have no idea. I kind of don't care that much. I guess is the bottom line, man. That was sort of my point. You know, everyone's into Rollins, and I think he's a good wrestler, and he kind of does good stuff. But you know what's funny? It's like, you know, and I guess it comes back like doing these like stupid wrestler impressions that I do. You know, it was so second nature, and it was all kind of like. It was very boilerplate as far as like what wrestlers used to do. You know, they would come out and they would do their interview, and it was a lot of like, "I'm gonna kick your ass, listen up, brother," blah, 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 blah. And it was pretty boilerplate. You know, like doing an Ultimate Warrior impression isn't that different than doing a Hogan impression necessarily. And Seth Rollins to me is the poster boy of this bad soap opera shit acting now that they do. You know. He comes out there, and you see him trying to remember his lines, and it's so frustrating to me to, like, watch this, you know. He's like, "Let me tell you something, Kane." He's like, "You may be a member of the Authority, but I am the Money in the Bank briefcase holder." You know, so that energy and enthusiasm that we used to dominate wrestling, it's gone. You know, now it's like, it's Cinemax porn without the sex. You know, it really is just the lamest crap ever. And he's just, you know, Orton's kind of there too, where, you know, they're both just so lifeless to me. I don't know. And I know people like them and they're into them, but I don't get it. That's why I love Wyatt. You know, we talked about him earlier. You know, he kind of is very much in his own weird world of doing something very different. They need to get more of that because, you know, at the end of the day, bad acting's bad acting. So it's like, who needs it? As far as who goes over, I guess I like the logic of, you know, I'm just going to piggyback and say great point, Mike. And just, you know, that makes sense to me to have Orton win and then maybe Rollins cash in, or, you know, maybe I can't see Lesnar walking out without a belt. What I think is going to happen, and I don't know if we talked about this match already, but I think Lesnar wins, and then he'll cash in, and then Lesnar will just wreck his ass too. You know, it's like that's how it's going to end. So maybe Orton or Rollins does get the win, and you know, it becomes, my God, he's on a winning streak. He's already won one match tonight. He's going to win two, and then he gets his ass, you know, packed. So I don't know, but I don't know. I'm rooting for that match to get cut for time. That's where I'm at.
All right, there you have it. As far as a couple quickies. Anybody else want to chime in on this match? I don't know who I've missed here, so if anyone else wants to share their 2 cents, this is the time. Did I miss anybody? Did I get you, Parcells? Did I get your prediction?
Yeah, you got me. I got Rollins.
Okay. Clam House, did I get yours?
No, but you could go ahead. I don't really care.
All right.
I don't have anything to add.
Ari?
I already talked.
Okay, you talked too. Okay. All right, I'm losing track of everybody. I'm losing track of all these matchups here. Let's go.
10-man tag in here, Dave. It's a lot. It's a pure 10 brawl tonight.
Absolutely, quite a show. We're having our own quite a tag team match we've got going ourselves.
It's
so
Dave Medina Memorial Battle Royal.
Hey, now wait a minute. I'm not dead yet. I'm not. All right, fellas. Let's continue. Here's the main event. The World Heavyweight Championship. Your participants, of course, Brock Lesnar, who's been much talked about. We talked about him to start the show. And the much-hated Roman Reigns, who I think just grew up too fast, too quickly, really rising through the ranks. It does seem like a little bit too good to be true. A guy barely comes into the WWE, and all of a sudden he's like all the way into the championship round that quickly. It seems funny. And so it's going to be an undefeated guy in Reigns, but he is just a rook, versus Lesnar, who now is feeding off the momentum of returning to WWE, or basically staying with him. So Lesnar reigns for all the marbles, fellas, in WrestleMania 31. This is the big matchup of the matchups. So let us start with Ari in Philadelphia. Let's get your take on the big title, the belt. Who's going to take the belt? Will Lesnar keep it, or will Reigns take over?
Well, I just predicted that there's going to be some shenanigans in the match with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I'm not quite sure how I think that's going to go down, but I don't see this finish as being clean, because the tradition in WrestleMania, at the end of WrestleMania, is the last match, the babyface has to win. And that's almost every year the babyface wins the last match. So if they're going to go with that, you send them home happy. So if they're going to go with that, then it's got to be Roman Reigns, but nobody really likes him. Like, he's not the babyface that anybody cares about now. So I think they're going to schmoz it up. They're going to have some kind of non-clean finish with the briefcase. Now that Lesnar is going to be back after WrestleMania, they could probably not blow off the feud completely. So that's what I think. I don't think either of these guys is going to win a clean match. At the end of the night, the champion is probably either going to be Roman Reigns or it's going to be Seth Rollins. But I think it's going to be shenanigans.
Wow. All right. So he predicts an unclean finish. Okay. And now on to John. Let's get your thoughts about the match.
Reigns is basically this year's Batista, where the WWE brought Batista back, wanted him to be a face, made him win the Rumble, too much, too quick. Fans hated it and turned on him. And that's basically what they're doing with Reigns. I think Lesnar ends the night as champ. I could definitely see the Money in the Bank being cashed in. I could also see it not being cashed in. Here's something. I'm not predicting this, but it's a thought. It wouldn't shock me if Rollins and Reigns somehow ended up being united at the end of this show in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how that would unfold, but that would not shock me at all if they just turned Reigns heel. I know Vince doesn't want to do that, but just something I've had in the back of my mind. But at the end of the day, I think Lesnar's going to keep the belt regardless of who he has to fight.
Yeah, it could be. I could see that. I mean, it could be a conspiracy between Reigns and Rollins and the Authority and Paul Heyman all teaming up against big, bad babyface Brock Lesnar.
Yep, I can see that as well.
Wow. So we're expecting some alliances here on this particular event. We will see if that transpires. Let's go to a couple quickies for his thoughts on this the sort of anticipated World Heavyweight Championship match.
I think that's a really interesting point by John to think that they could end up united. But what I found out recently about what they do, and I don't know by any means the ins and outs of it, and this kind of stuff is infinitely more interesting than what guy wins in the ring. But I know they do these. They basically go to toy shows, let's say, and they will market, hey, we're going to make, we're pushing these 4 guys as our good guys, and we're going to make these plush dolls, and we're going to have, whatever this crap they sell, to kids, as far as their standard dolls and, or, whatever enhanced dolls they have. So, because I remember that being a problem with Bryan. I remember hearing that was some of the issue with pushing Daniel Bryan last year, even though the crowd obviously was so overwhelmingly about it. They had no Bryan licensing in the pipeline. They were pushing that red-haired guy, Sheamus, to be hey, because he looks like some kind of a doll. It's like this, freaking. Freak pale skin with, shiny red hair. So I almost wonder, because, look, the obvious moves of all time is to turn Reigns heel. The crowd basically hates him. They want to hate him. They've hated him in the past. He's everything you should hate, this good-looking buff Samoan. That looks like he's going to fuck your girlfriend. So it's of course you should hate Roman Reigns.
That should be a nickname or a t-shirt. Good looking Boston going and the back says he's going to fuck your girlfriend.
Exactly.
Roman 316 says, I just fucked your girlfriend.
Umberto, get yourself some, ghoulish contact lenses too, because somehow he's got blue eyes. His contact lens is gonna shade lighter each week. He looks like that goddamn guy Raiden in Mortal Kombat now. He just has these weirdly pale he looks like the dude in Poltergeist with no fucking eyes. So yeah, the obvious move is to turn him heel, but I don't know if they can based on those ancillary and tertiary considerations. That they pushed him as a face to these toy companies, so they kind of have to keep him face. So I don't know, but I love that idea that John suggested that they would do that. But I think again, getting back to the notion of WrestleMania, building to that next year, you have to have Lesnar win. He has to go over. And I think it's 2 wins in one night. He takes out Reigns. What's his name cashes in. He takes him out. Lesnar stands tall with the belt at the end. Maybe Heyman turned on him too, and Lesnar overcame all this stuff because Lesnar is getting the biggest reaction of anyone right now as far as cheers. I think they're almost boxed into a corner with him. The crowd is turning him face. Never because he's everything a face should be. He goes out and he kicks people's asses. That's what Hulk Hogan did for years. That's what the company's built on. That's what Stone Cold did. That's and you could try to keep these guys as bad guys, but people like success. So the interesting thing to me with that match is going to be the reaction that Reigns gets. Because it's either going to be bad or it's going to be really bad. And I think that will depend kind of on how the night goes. If the card is lackluster and it's just these people have flown in from all around the world literally to come to this match, and they've not had a good show, they are going to mortify this guy. They're going to destroy him in terms of reaction. And I think, again, getting to the notion of him being a rookie, more or less, for intents and purposes, that's some heavy shit. I've done some stand-up comedy, and I've bombed in front of 15 people, and it feels like you got punched in the face. I can't imagine when 55,000 people are telling you you suck when you're supposed to be the savior of the day. That's a visceral human reaction. Then you got to go dance with this freaking bull Brock Lesnar. God forbid he has a flashback and thinks he's in the cage and he actually shoots on you and puts you in a Kimura lock and separates your Samoan tattoo. I don't know. It's going to be. That's going to be the interesting element, though. How feisty the crowd gets.
Dave, could you just say something real quick?
Yeah.
The only issue I have with Lesnar going face and Heyman turning on him is that Heyman speaks for Lesnar, and that's such a huge part of Lesnar right now. And I don't see them wanting Lesnar on the mic. And if Heyman is not with him, he pretty much has to be on the mic. So that would be my one issue with that.
Ooh, interesting.
I agree with you, John. I would hate to see it, but these guys do not have any kind of track record of making smart choices. But I totally agree with you.
Common sense does not win in the WWE. So there you have it. No, it's an interesting point, though. I mean, I think if a guy is not good on mic, that's certainly not going to win over a lot of guys in the same way that a guy who's good on mic would do. So that's great observations there by you, John. Okay, so Parcells, anything you'd like to add regarding this much anticipated, to an extent, World Heavyweight Championship match, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with what Ari and John finished with, and what Quickies was saying. I think Lesnar walks out of there as a babyface. Throughout this whole process and this road to WrestleMania, since the whole Royal Rumble fiasco, I think the only organic thing that has happened in all of this is Lesnar getting face pop from the fans. And I think that's really built up because of the hatred for Reigns and fans not wanting Reigns. So I really think Lesnar walking out of there as a babyface is what the fans want to see. Now, how it's going to happen, everybody's already gone through the different combinations of things happening, him beating Reigns and then pummeling Rollins when he cashes in the Money in the Bank, or if like the Quickies just talked about and John just talked about, if Heyman turns on him. The one thing about Heyman turning, and if Heyman turns and goes with Reigns, Reigns is shit on the mic. So, Reigns also needs somebody to speak for him. So, I don't know. Who knows what Vince is going to do? He may just continue to push Reigns down everybody's throat. I hope not. I'd like to see Lesnar walk out of there, with the belt and as a face, and thus, again, setting up what may happen next year at WrestleMania.
It's always tough when you get two guys that don't have a natural, when you get a guy out there that nobody wants to win, basically. Reigns is really developed into this guy that people just cannot stand, so you're forced to root against guys you normally would rooting for. I think that's what I was getting from most of this in Brock Lesnar. And so the obvious move here is to make him... Is he officially a face now? He's not, right? We'll make him a face.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's got to be a face. That just seems like the natural move. I mean, especially now with the ESPN announcement, it would just make sense. We'll see if that happens. Okay, Clamsies, let's get your take on the World Championship match. What do you say? What do you think?
No, I think what the guys have been saying previously is right. I think, he's the most popular guy, so I think Brock's gonna end the night with the championship. And he's the most talented guy to have by far. He's a really good fake wrestler. He's really good at it. Even though he's I don't know how old he is right now. I think he's 37, 38 or whatever. But he's still great. He has a lot of experience doing it, and he's awesome. So it should just keep him with the belt. What I think they're gonna do is that he's gonna work on a limited schedule. He's gonna like only work like maybe like 5-6 times this year or whatever, and then they're just gonna have the junior belts, like the crappy belts. They're gonna elevate those things and like have those like be more worthwhile. And I think that's the stance they should go with.
Yeah, I think that's right. I remember hearing that about the schedule that Brock Lesnar was going to use. Like, it's not going to be a full-time gig for him. That was the word from everybody. So it'll be a fruitful partnership, I think. As long as he can manage to maintain the traction with his popularity, he'll be in good shapes. And so, too, will the WWE. So that's it for the big matches. We do also have Sting versus Triple H. If anybody wants to chat about Sting finally getting in a match after hanging around and challenging people and throwing hammers around or whatever. On the Andre the Giant Battle Royale and the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, it is now open floor time for everybody here. So we will start the chat. We will start the conversation with a couple quickies. All right, buddy, it's your floor.
Well, I think the other element you got to look forward to this weekend is the Hall of Fame, which will be happening. And I am looking forward to the Bushwhackers finally getting their due. A lot of people don't know this. Mike and Jim Nance in the 80s, they were also called the Bushwhackers, but for maybe a different reason. And who can forget? Yeah, the Macho Man finally going in, facing the place and getting his due. A cup of coffee, ooh, yeah. Freak out. Funky Gold Medina, Hall of Fame. Dig it. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And, of course, to be inducted by the genius Lanny Poffo. Which will be fantastic, you know. Lanny Poffo, legendary in wrestling circles. He was a contortionist. He could suck his own dick. True story.
Oh, man. How do you follow that up? That's good stuff. I'm kind of waiting for someone to jump in, and it's like, he said suck his own dick. I'm like, well, what's the next line?
That, Dave.
I hope that makes his Hall of Fame speech when he's reading a poem.
That's good. Now, who's the guy that's getting in?
Macho
right?
Man lived life on the Macho Man lived life on the rocks, but the genius could suck his own cock. And then he throws a few frisbees.
Quite a line. All right, so no, but Sting's only doing a match, guys. That's good stuff. I mean, everybody talks about him in the rafters, and now after, you know, having years and years in WCW and other wrestling circuits, and after years just hanging around, challenging people, but not actually doing an official match, he's going to actually have a match against Triple H. So two old codgers getting together in the octogenarian match of the evening, or whatever you call it. I don't know. What do you make it?
I got to jump in, Dave. I get such a kick. I know we're a lot of board crossover. There's also some good people that are independent of the board, but we're a board concentrated podcast here. Every time Umberto puts up the Sting gift where he's trying to do a sharpshooter, and he looks like my grandmother picking weeds. I laugh every single time it goes up. So I just had to give Bertie's a little shout out for that.
I dig
that.
It's bright and many as our
I have no idea when that match even happened, but like, yeah, it's like wonderful. Like he can't even bend his legs. It's like it just looks like he's gonna like die right there in the ring. He's just like such pain. He's like, what am I doing in my life? Like with my face painted up and like my knees all shot up.
Wrestling in front of 30 people.
Man, quite a, you know, and it's interesting that WrestleMania tries to be a mix of old and new, but there seems to be a lot of old this year. I tell you, Undertaker, Triple H, and Sting, Randy Orton, John Cena. I mean, you got some old guys in this one. Ari, I mean, isn't it funny how much veteran leadership, so to speak, there is involved in this match? Is this a normal thing? I mean, is it usually this much veteran this much veteranship on the card?
Yeah, I mean, for WrestleMania, they try to bring back kind of things that'll pop a buy rate, people you don't always see. And Sting is, feature attractions like Sting, like Brock Lesnar, really. Triple H only wrestles 2 or 3 times a year, stuff like that. The Undertaker comes back once a year. I'm looking at Wikipedia, and it says Steve Borden, born March 20th, 1959, age 56. What could he possibly have left in the ring? I mean, how many years ago was that Scorpion Deathlock that we're looking at, that we're just talking about, that we're looking at? And he couldn't do it then. What could he possibly have left to actually do in the ring? And I don't see Triple H putting him over at this age. I just don't. Especially the way they build this storyline is, kind of WWE versus WCW. WWE has to win, right? So I see Triple H going over in this match. I don't see Sting bringing anything in the ring. I mean, he's enthusiastic and he can still work the crowd, but as far as actually wrestling, I don't know. He's 56. How old Hogan? 59. He can't move. So I don't know. I don't see it, but I do think that one thing that Sting and Triple H have in common is a long history with a certain gentleman from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, segue.
And I wonder if he might make an appearance at WrestleMania.
You want to talk about history, pal? I'll tell you history. Woo! History is bus diving up and down the road from Raleigh to Shreveport. Woo! That's history, pal. I got nothing. I ran out of gas,
No, that's the Ric Flair now. That's current day Ric Flair. That's a good
Woo! You want to talk Glenn Dix? Woo!
It was like, woo!
Dave, you know what's an element we missed on, too, just to chime in here, when you talk about the age of all these fuckers. So Vince has gotten away from, if you notice, it's not WrestleMania 31, as we branded it. It's WrestleMania play button, basically.
Yeah, what the hell is that play button for? What does that mean?
Nobody knows, but the speculation is that he doesn't want to seem old. He doesn't want to, oh my God, it's 31 years of, WrestleMania. Yet, as you pointed out so astutely, it's all these old wrestlers. Like, that's the great irony of it, It's like, he doesn't want to be branded as old in years, but it's like, my God, I think I read the combined age of the Sting and Triple H match is 99 years old. That's insane.
Holy shit. Oh.
To put it in perspective, that's older than if Mike and the Mad Dog reunited.
Oh my God.
That's not older than Marquis and his mom at it combined. Still less.
I once saw Mama C's titty wrestle under a mask.
We just lost John and Greenwich. I think you can't escape it, John. I'm sorry, buddy. You can't escape it. That's funny. It can escape the shirt, though.
I don't like keeping it up, but when I first read that, like when I stopped reading after the first paragraph, like I didn't know what was going on. Like first, I like to pinch myself. I thought I was on drugs or something, and I'm like, what's going on? Did he
that's a bad job out of you.
Like, did he actually write all this up and like submit replies? Like, crazy. Like he didn't even like use the preview button. He was just like, I'm jumping off the like right now. Submit.
Crazy.
I know he basically prefaced it saying, I know it's gonna get a bad reaction. Okay, hear me out. My mom's titty popped out in ShopRite.
I don't know if he was looking for it to be like, has this happened to you? Don't you hate when this happens? When your mom's kitty pops out in ShopRite?
It's like it's a Seinfeld routine. It's like a triple X Seinfeld routine.
Maybe she keeps that like card you get your grocery scan with under there.
Okay.
All
Right. We're gonna put this to bed. I'm gonna be the ref here. Put that one to bed. Just change topic for the sake of the rest of our crew here. Okay. So I think the question for me as far as WrestleMania play button. So nobody knows what that is. I thought there was a reason for that. I guess there is a reason for that, but we just don't know what it is. But I did not realize that was deliberate. I just thought, oh, WrestleMania, and then I'm like, where's the 31? I'm like looking for the 31 on there, and I'm like, all I see is play button. I'm like, oh, that's just a generic logo. Where's the one with the number on it? There is no number on it. Okay, well, interesting to know. But anyway, as far as the event, it did seem like the long-time fans, which means most of you guys, were feeling like this is not going to be that great an event. And I think we've run down some of the reasons. I think some of the guys that they're trying to raise up to be big names in the circuit have been hated by the crowd, and everybody else is just extremely ancient. So, we do this podcast as a device to promote the event, but the problem, I think we are starting to encumber some of the challenges with doing such a thing. The content doesn't seem like it's popping off the page like it had in the past. So, is this a problem for WWE? Can they overcome this? What would be the next step? So, John and Greenwich, and I hope you're still with us. Where do you see WrestleMania going from this point forward?
Well, yeah. To answer your question, yes, they'll overcome it because there's no competition, and the competition. I mean, TNA is not competition. So
right.
If you want to watch wrestling, you're going to watch WWE. Now, whether you watch that or NXT is another thing, but even still, NXT is owned by them, so it's not really competition. I just want to touch on those other matches because I didn't get a chance to real quick. My surprise thing of the night is I think that Kane is going to come out in his mask again. Why, what they're going to do with it, I don't know. I just have that feeling. They've kind of hinted at it in the last few weeks, I feel. So I think that's going to happen in the Battle Royal. I don't even know if that means he's going to win it or not, but I just have a feeling that they're going to do that with him. And, Sting, right. Let me just say for the record, I hate Sting. I hated him in WCW. I've hated him for like 20 years. I've never liked him, but I think he's going to win because I don't think they're going to sign him and have him job in hopefully his only match. But I don't know why people like him. I just never understood it. Like, especially, okay, so he stands around in the rafters and points a bat at you. Okay, he's been doing that for like 19 years. All right, great. I just want that on the record. I hate Sting.
All right, duly noted, Mr. Yachtsman. Let's now go to Ari for thoughts about the other remaining matches in WrestleMania play button.
I think the ladder match is going to be really good. The ladder match is where WWE stuck all of the people that the fans were screaming about wanting to see. They stuck them all into one match. Wade Barrett and Dean Ambrose and Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. And they just said, here's a ladder. Here's 6 of you, steal the show. And I think they will. I think if you're watching the show for wrestling, that's probably going to be the best match.
Very good. Okay, so now to Parcells falling out. Thoughts on the remaining matches in WrestleMania 31?
I agree with Ari on that match. Those guys are some of the best workers that they have. I love Ziggler. I've been a big Ziggler fan for a while. So I think that's going to be a really good match. John's point about Kane coming out with his mask is interesting, something I didn't even think about, but would enjoy seeing. I hate this version of Kane. It's just so grating. And so, anyways, something that we didn't take. Isn't there a tag team match with Los Matadores and El Torito? I think Ari might know
it's a
better
four-way.
exactly who's in that.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
on the
four-way
pre-show.
match. Yeah, it's a four-way
I
match.
mean,
but it's on the pre-show, right? Which I don't understand why they have a pre-show. Everything's on the network now. But
I mean, how
yeah,
could they
so
have a
that it's.
pre-show when the thing's like 5 hours long? That's
It's.
like
I mean,
crazy.
you're sitting. That's another thing when we were talking about the crowd earlier. You're sitting there in your seat for 6 hours watching this stuff. I mean, if the main event's not good, you are going to shit on it.
And let's be honest, this is the same Niner crowd that stabs the shit out of people after a 3-hour Niner game. What's it gonna be like after 5 hours of getting lit when some European soccer hooligans, you know?
I don't think things gonna make it.
Exactly. You better have a real bat, not that damn rubber bat he's been carrying.
He might not even
Rubber
make
bat
it,
versus
right?
versus the rubber sledgehammer.
That's wild, guys. Okay, let's see. We've run through much of the panel. Umberto's, any other thoughts you had about WrestleMania?
Yeah, you were noting before that like WrestleMania has like a lot of old dudes. Yeah, I think I heard next year's WrestleMania is gonna be held at the Wolf Den.
Wow.
Wow. G. Michael.
Does anybody have any wacky predictions for the show? I like Yatz's theme of the Demon Kane returning.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm rooting for golf carts to drive wrestlers down. That's what I'm hoping. Just
the
like
mini
Ray.
ring, baby. He's got the mini ring.
That's my dark horse prediction for the night. And my other dark horse prediction: Undertaker dressed in white. That's my other little wacky prediction.
Here's my prediction: a run-in the Rusev Cena match by Hulk Hogan.
Oh, that's a good one.
Not bad. Any other predictions, fellas?
Also, by the way, The Rock is hosting Saturday
I
Night
have
Live
one.
the night before.
Really?
So I don't think he's going to be there. I mean, I don't think he's taking that flight the next morning to get there this year. So last year he was a surprise. He showed up as a surprise at the beginning. I don't think he's making it this year.
Wow, that's
Wait,
crazy.
who's the host?
The Rock is hosting Saturday Night Live the night before WrestleMania. So he'll be in New York until midnight. I don't think he's getting out to San Francisco for the show the next day.
I have a prediction that Dave's not going to spend 1 minute watching this on Sunday.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good one. I'm probably not going to be around for it. But anyway, it's still fun to talk about it with you guys. I do enjoy it, and the storylines certainly make for good theater. So I can appreciate the art of it. I mean, I will check in on it a little. I know that last year when the WrestleMania was underway, when Undertaker finally lost that match to Lesnar, it blew up on Twitter. I mean, it exploded. It was all over the internet. So the question then, to close us out tonight, will there be a takeover Twitter moment, a break the internet moment in this year's WrestleMania? It's hard to imagine that, guys, but do you think there could be? Because we have had some pretty wild, wacky predictions here. Some good twists and turns. You know, you talked about Kane, John. We talked about other guys teaming up, alliances, and so on. Will there be a break the internet moment on this year's WrestleMania? Let's go down the line. We have 6 minutes. Let's start with Clamsies. What do you think?
I think ACQ was bringing it earlier. Yeah, I think it's when Sting might get stabbed. Like that might it might be unfortunate, but I think that might get a lot of Sting stabs things on or something,
And it would bring the Crow gimmick and Brandon Lee full circle. To finally put it to rest.
All right. Any predictions for break the internet moments?
I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's the card is lackluster. So my prediction for break the internet moments, no, there won't be any.
Okay. John?
Could there be? I mean, it's live TV, so there could be, but I don't think there will because, I mean, define break the internet to the level of Undertaker last year. No, I don't see that.
All right. And let's see, Parcells?
Yeah, no, ain't nothing on the level of Undertaker last year. I mean, if Sting comes in from the rafters and has an Owen Hart moment or something, and that would certainly break the internet. But I don't see anything happening.
Okay. So last we have, let's see, a quick man. What break the internet? Do you see anything of that caliber this year?
If Paige's titty pops out, it's gonna break my internet. I'll tell you that right now.
Might break a few things.
If I could have one more thing, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I could have one more thing. Like, the only thing I wish for is that Sting does his sharpshooter again, so I could replace that old one I have with the new one. And it might look even worse. This is like 2 years in advance. I mean, of when that happens, but he might not even be able to bend his knees at all. So I hope that happens. I could get a clean GIF. Yeah,
new GIF opportunity. I love it.
Yeah, I don't have to use that old one anyway.
I have one break the. I do have one break the internet moment for you, Dave.
Okay.
I don't expect it to happen, but I think it could match, if not surpass, the Undertaker moment. That would be John Cena turning heel somehow.
Interesting.
I don't expect it. But
that would
do it. Down, I think people would flip their shit. Yeah, that's really what they need right now. The sad thing is, though, I don't even have confidence in the writers to do anything with it. But that is their one big card to play that would shock the shit out of everybody and, maybe kick off a new era of wrestling where there's, a little buzz and a little hype back on it.
Nice.
I think the only thing that would shock me is if Mike shows up. If Mike shows up,
The thing with Cena going heel, is that he does that Make-A-Wish thing, and I think they've wanted him to go heel, but he doesn't want to because of that foundation that he does. But that goes along. Go ahead.
What if one of these little bastards wishes for him to turn heel?
Imagine you had cancer and your last wish is for Cena to go heel. That would be something. I'm dying. I'm never gonna make it.
What if Connor the Crusher's dying? What if Connor the Crusher's dying breath was turn heel, you son of a bitch?
That's too good. All right, fellas. Well, I hate to say it, but we're out of time tonight, and this has been quite a party. So, Parcells falling out, a couple quickies. Umberto's Clam House, Ari in Philadelphia. Your mic is awesome. Hopefully we can get your regular mic working again next time. John in Greenwich, you guys have been way fun tonight. I really want to thank you for everything, and I hope that we get a good response on it tomorrow. Ari, just really quickly.
Time isn't running out to me, Dave.
Oh, here you go. There you go.
I am taking Mama C. Woo! To Space Mountain. One time tonight. Woo! And she's going to have a hard time keeping these alligators out. Woo! If there's one thing that makes your boy likes, it's a titty out. Woo! Titty's going to be out, up, down, and around. Woo! One time, Raceway Park. Flying high.
90 seconds.
New Jersey. Woo!
Oh, good. That's good, man. Never stop doing that. Never stop doing that character. It is so good. Okay, guys. Well,
if I could ever actually do a good Ric Flair impression, it might be dangerous.
Oh man,
yelling like a retard. But
serious. Oh man, I dig. One day we will get Ric Flair, and I'll have you talk to him, and that would be
60 seconds.
It would be. All right. All right.
I'll fly to LA for that one day. If you hook that up.
That'd be a dream. That'd be a dream. All right, guys. Well, enjoy WrestleMania. Make the most of it. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Oh, that's it. Okay, take care, guys. All right, so that's it for our show. Special thanks to all. I'm Dave Medina. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.